say living life is free, I'll have to deny, 'cause every day I pay the price.
Have you ever crashed? I ask this because I'm not very proud to say this, but I have more times than I would like to. It's not very fun, but you definitely learn a lot from it. Not fun though. I'm also not happy to report I've crashed many things, and we're about to get into that. But before, welcome to the complicated but kind of simple podcast. I'm here again with another video, and yeah, this I don't know, I'm not too excited to talk about my L's, but I think you guys will enjoy it. So if you do, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first thing I crashed was gonna be a bike. Don't worry, we'll get into like real vehicles later, but something I learned when I crashed my bike was that there's a split second, one moment between you crashing and you knowing you crashing. And it's weird, my brain does this thing where I'll look and I just take a snapshot picture of where I'm or what or how, the whole situation that's gonna go on, that I'm about to crash into that thing. And I take a picture, and then right before that, I just blank out. My brain just goes, and just from there, close my eyes, involuntarily, boom, hit it. And so that was the first thing on my bike. But the more interesting things that I have crashed before was a four-wheeler. So, in a Ranger. And technically, you could say a truck, but I didn't hit anything with the truck. I kind of just went off-road. Plus, it wasn't even my driving, but one thing at a time. I'm going to start with the Ranger. So, I think I was about, I'm going to say 8 to 10. And this is, if you've ever seen a Gator, which is just a bigger ATV, and a Ranger is a Gator, but it has a hood on it and some roll bars. And I was young, riding with my brother, and at this point I've been driving for a while now. Driving had just, become second nature. I'd always been with vehicles, tractors, mowers, so this wasn't anything new. And I'm driving down this property, my boss's property. Funny enough, this was my boss's Ranger. So I was, driving down little me, and I just was looking at my brother, and the day was beautiful. Sun was shining down, the wind was blowing, and I'm just cruising, and my brother's like, yeah. He's like, go faster. I'm like, all right. And then I go faster, and he's like, oh my gosh, and we're like hype. We're both happy, two brothers just riding along in the wind. And I look at him again, and then he looks at me, but he was making all these faces of excitement and joy before. And then when I look at his face again, his face goes to horror. And then I my head angles, and I'm like, why is he looking at me weird? 1 second ago he was fine. What's the problem? And then I look ahead and I go, oh, and he's like, dude. And then boom, you crash right into this rock fence. And it was probably the best thing we could have hit, because not only was the vehicle not damaged, so that's one great thing. 2, the rock fence totally absorbed all the force and just kind of fell over. So it wasn't sediment, it was just rocks placed on each other. And 3, no one noticed. So I did call my father, or we got a hold of him. But when we had crashed, I totally flipped it on its side. And I remember just seeing my brother's face, seeing us driving. I look ahead, and then I realize, oh, I am going on the right side of the road, hitting the fence. And then once I hit the fence, just a snapshot picture of me realizing, oh, well, we're gonna crash right now. Boom, we crash. And I somehow end under one of the actual guard rails for flipping, like the roll cage. And I'm sitting there, and my brother's completely fine. And I was fine too, but I'm under one of the guardrails. I'm like, help me. And he like picks it up a little bit and like pulls me out and stuff. And that wasn't fun. But at that moment, I was really freaked out of what was going to happen to me, but also what was going to happen to like the vehicle and my job. And everything ended up fine. But the boss never found out, that was great. But it taught me a lesson of, you freeze up. Or I personally, like, usually before it crashes, if I know I'm gonna crash, I usually freeze up. So, and then we go to the 4-wheeler, and this is a bit of a story of its own, but I was with friends, riding with them. They had, I think, a 250 ATV, another one had a 500, and I had a 660. Now, if you know anything about ATVs, I was the youngest and on the biggest ATV, and that jump from 250 to 500 is pretty big. It was funny. The oldest guy was on the 250, the second oldest was on the 500, and then I was on the 660. And 250 to 500, it's a big jump, but the jump from 500 to 660 is quite a bit. It's a racing ATV, or 4-wheeler, if you will. So we were playing 4-wheeler tag, because that's what you do, and we were just riding around the field having a good time. And everything was going well most of the time. And I think we had been riding for at least, I'm gonna say 30 minutes to 45, having fun, doing stuff, racing and just hitting turns. And once we started this game, I really wanted to win. I'm competitive. And in my mind, I'm also going, I also have the fastest vehicle here by far. Like, this thing rips. The low end from 0 to like 40, this is a quick thing. So I see the one in the 500 friend, and he's hitting a turn and he hits it, and I'm like, well, I want to catch up to him. So instead of slowing down, turning in, and then coming out the turn quick, I don't think, I'm just like, catch up. So I just hit the gas, and in my head I go, I'm gonna hit the drift through the turn, maintain speed, and hit the gas to catch up with him. And you know what? I'll give myself some props. One prop, and that prop is, I was right. I probably, if I had the skills and, did a few things a little differently, I probably could have done that cool thing. But what really ended up happening was, he goes, hits the turn. I go, I'm hitting the turn. Everything's going well. I'm hitting the gas. I know that as soon as I tilt my body, the back wheels are spinning out a little bit, but that just means I'm turning and flowing in. Everything is going great. And then I just feel a bump, and it was on my back wheel. And at that moment I went, you messed up, dude. This is where you die. This is where you went from fun to none. And my back wheel just hit up. The front of the four-wheeler just went down and I guess pressured the ground. I immediately gained traction too much to where I just shoot forward, and then I try to correct it. Nope. By the time I try to slow down and correct, the ground is just, it's too slippery. I got no traction again, and then I just right into some bushes, into some thorn bushes. Now, I would say about 15 feet in front of the thorn bushes, I was like, okay, I'm going to crash. This is all obviously happening between like in 5 seconds. So going like 45, 50, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, so I'm obviously gonna crash right now. Try to slow down, not working, and then my brain just blanks out, and then okay, just shuts off. From there, I somehow flip over the front of my four-wheeler. Then I get caught under the bottom of the four-wheeler and then slip, and the four-wheeler, it's sliding on top, and we both slide perfectly in the thorn bush. And then one of my friends, the older guy, just comes up to me and he like rips his four-wheeler to me, looks at me, he's like, oh my god, and I'm like, I'm good, dude. And when I open my eyes, I like moved my arms a little bit and my legs, I'm like, is anything broken? No, it should be good, unless the shock and something really's wrong, I should be fine. He's like, dude, the four-wheeler is still in gear, so there's still piston pressure, and this guy did not care. I'm like, you gotta get it out of gear, to get off me. No, he went Hulk mode. He picked up the back of that four-wheeler and just pulled that joint off of me so fast. It was crazy, up a hill and everything, and it was just like, picks me up and he's like, are you good? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm actually in awe at this point of what's going on, because I've tried to drift it, failed, crashed, got the snapshot of my head about a crash. I flip over, am under my four-wheeler, wake up and realize I'm under my four-wheeler, check if my bones are broken, find out I'm fine. My friend pulls up and throws a four-wheeler off of me and then looks at me like, are you good? I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing just fine here. Nothing really happened, but taught me, you can have fun, but you should probably slow down sometimes and play within your bounds. But both times that I've crashed, I didn't get hurt. I don't know how. The four-wheeler one was crazy too, because I was going pretty quick on that, and when I hit that turn, it was do or die, and apparently I was not doing anything that day. And I remember from there, we went, we chilled, and just hung out the rest of the day, going a little slower, but still having a good day. And I say that to ask you guys, do you guys also, if you have crashed, I don't recommend you doing it, but if you guys have crashed, do you get that same snapshot photo, that snapshot right before you're gonna hit it like something, or you're gonna tumble over, whatever it is? It's just boom, click, you got a mental image of exactly what happened. Now, I have been better at like possible crashes in the future that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I've avoided. It seems we're out of time, so I'll have to make another video over it. But yeah, leave that in the comments below, because I'm super interested if you guys have that same thing where that picture is just vivid. It's like I could make like a 3D space map, like like map of like the space in the area of like how it happened, because it's just perfectly ingrained. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed these stories of me failing. If you did, again, like, comment, subscribing. Before all that, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Cheers.